This battle may just as well be called stopping the inevitable. Here we are playing as Soviets in an ultra-defensive situation. Now we're actually supposed to be carrying out an attack here on this position over here at the crossroads, but we are very short on manpower. I mean, extremely short. So what I think we're going to do is try and set up just a decent defense for any German attacks, and the best way to do that is going to be to try to set our men up as much as we can in this wooded area. I'm going to do the same with these sort of anti-tank weapons, and pretty much just defend our patrol cars. Now, as for every single one of our AT guns, this is a nice open area, so I'm going to keep them right here, and we're going to hopefully really damage the German invader. Again, it was supposed to be an assault, but there's no way, in good conscience, I can turn this into an assault, so instead I'm pretty much spreading all of my men out across this forested line, and I'm hoping that this is sufficient to get some good, shots down on the enemy. We'll even put some over here. We'll grab these guys, Gottlieb as well, put him over here. Let's take a look at that. So I'm liking how that's starting to look. I'm also going to bring this unit up, and for him, we're actually going to put him right at Popov, so actually inside the actual town, and he'll also be defending these supply trucks over here. This is the area I'm really worried about. I don't know if they're actually going to attack, but we're going to assume they will, so let's set another group up over here by the crossroads. There's no real good way to set them up here. There are kind of woods in the center, but I just don't see these things helping, honestly. So these guys are probably just going to stay here and keep an eye on the crossroads, hopefully get some additional crossfire on the enemy, but only time will tell. In any case, my brothers, let's get ready for the fight. Go ahead and deploy our men on the field, and hopefully secure a victory against the German invader here. So at this point, we are just waiting. Some of our AT guns don't even exist because they were destroyed in previous fighting, so it may come down to just our units here, and maybe even the drivers of these supply vehicles can assist. Get to the battlefield, son. Okay, guys, we have spotted the enemy, and look at that, all the way out there by the crossroads. Several of our actual artillery are already opening up on these enemy positions, so we're very lucky to actually be hitting them at this distance. The question is, how effective is our defensive line here, our wooded defensive line, going to be against that approaching unit? And I hope it's going to be very effective. We've actually got some guys out here in the open even with AT guns. I mean, if they've got some actual tanks, we're even prepared for them. Let's take a look here at the German line. Okay, throwing down some actual rounds on them for sure. Some artillery rounds, some mortar rounds. We just want to keep this up. And in fact, I might bring up some of these guys that are straggling behind. We've got some units way back here. I'm going to move these guys, for instance, up there into the woods. Now, they are hitting us over here, guys, if you see the artillery fire coming from the crossroads. So they might be attacking on multiple fronts, but this is the real one to worry about, is the one directly ahead of us. And I like to see that those mortars seem to be doing pretty damn well, firing those over at the enemy. And of course, our men are ready for action here. Look at these shell holes. These are really nice positions. They're definitely firing back, for sure. You can see the mortars popping up on their side there, and it looks like they might be extending the line over here. I'm not sure if we have very good defenses. It's going to really come down to just these units that we've got on the road. They're going to have to focus their fire on this German group. Come on, boys. I almost want to take the Dachenkov group and just attack the crossroads. Remember, this was supposed to be an offensive, but that would mean, of course, moving our AT guns up and exposing them to enemy fire. Yeah, I just don't know. But you know what? Come on, we're playing as the Soviets. We've got to be a bit offensive, right? So let's grab our guys. Let's do a full-on attack to the crossroads. Go, brothers! For Stalin! Let's hope it works out. It may be my worst mistake yet. Just to be safe, I'm going to keep one of these AT guns right there. And the other one I'm going to do the same with, if we can find that second one. One of them did not actually have an AT gun, but nonetheless, we are performing a counterattack here on their flank. So hopefully they keep that focus forward, and we can really advance without any real resistance. Here we go. Love the positioning of this gun here. If anything resembling a tank shows up, it is going to be gone. And look at that, we're just slowly but surely spotting some more German units. Luckily, our mortars are scaring the absolute hell out of them. But they are going to come into contact with our advancing infantry here. Yeah, keep it up, keep it up. We see some gunshots going off. Beautiful. Fire, boys. We need everybody essentially kind of looking forward. If they come out of there too quickly, really aggressively, they could potentially keep every single one of our guys pinned. So I'm really hoping that number one, our artillery guns are going to make a big difference, and number two, that the woods are really going to help our guys, because they shouldn't have to be pinned if they've got trees all around them. They should be able to actually return fire to the enemy and do some serious damage. I think right now distance is the biggest issue. Look at that. And actually, we've got a machine gun right up there at the front line. Keep up the artillery fire. Beautiful. So right here is where we've got our... Is it a DPS HK? I believe it is. Yeah, baby. I'm gonna grab this infantry unit and move him out here. Watch for artillery, boys. See how we're doing over here on this attacking front, guys. Of course, we are pushing the limit here. It looks almost like potentially German trenches, if I'm not mistaken, or something very similar. So I want to make sure that that thing is... We've got our eyes on that area. Let's see if it's a trench works. I don't think so. So I think what this probably is are just shell holes that they've actually gotten into. It's just not uniform enough to be trenches. But what I will do is take Chevchenko here, our machine gunner, and just start firing machine guns right at that position. I think this guy's got the right idea. Fire away, keep them pinned, and move forward. Nice shot. We still got, of course, our AT gun firing here. Those anti-personnel rounds will leave a mark. So if we could take this area, what I'd like to do is one of two things. Either set up just a basic line here, although we might still be too far from the enemy. We could also send some attacks up this wooded road and just try to carry out some offensive assaults on the enemy line. Don't know which is going to be best, but I feel like the offensive assaults will be pretty difficult to carry out. Thank goodness we have some units here at Bobov, here at the town, just to watch the enemy approaching. We just don't know what they're going to do, and the angle here is all wrong for us. We're only going to spot them when they're about right here with most of our men. Luckily, a lot of our infantry can spot them at a distance. Just look at all these officers. They're hiding. Even the officers are hiding in terror. Beautiful. Alright, look at this, guys. We are right on the enemy at this point. I mean, meters away, really. We've got an anti-tank gun. It can definitely kill a man if it hits him, but of course that's a tough hit to get, so we need to get some supporting infantry moving up here. Let's hope he's not the only one. There we go. Bergis, move it, boys. Another AT rifle. What we need right now is a Molotov. Or any grenade, really. Just throw a grenade. A lot of dead Germans here, so we might not even have an issue getting over here, but I'd like our guys to toss some nades in the crossroads area, just make sure that the German threat is neutralized. Wow, we just got a kill with the AT rifle. That's pretty amazing. AT rifle on infantry. And it looks like they're also starting to use a lot of smoke here to cover their advance. It makes sense, because obviously if they try to just rush across this field, they're going to be an easy target. It looks like they might be taking our idea and actually moving through this wooded area here. That's what it looks like to me. So we want to be prepared for them, of course. Just get ready. What's this? Aha, some actual crossroads are now part of our wonderful advance, guys. So we're going to continue this advance, of course. Grab these guys. And on we go. We actually will charge this way so that we stay close to the wood, hopefully, to the woods. But I do want to continue that assault for sure. I don't want to stop here. I want to make sure that the enemy has to keep eyes everywhere because we're going to be attacking from multiple directions. Come on, boys. Wish we had a few more Maxim machine guns, to be honest with you. Okay, still a few more actual Germans there. Now, finally, we threw some grenades. But this is what I'm talking about. There could always be resistance. Looks like our Commissar is getting in there. Boss Commissar. Alright, wow. Really good work there by the Commissar. Absolutely annihilating the units at the crossroads. But I still think the right option is to stay put here. You can see some of our more forward infantry units are starting to have contact with the Germans here coming through the woods. I think we have to stay put and just hold this position. No real point in advancing on this side unless we want to fold these guys over here because they don't seem to be coming across over this way. So you know what? I will take Grashiev, put him here. Start moving a few of these guys over there, actually. Just so that we can maximize our firepower actually going down the road here. In fact, even our supply vehicles are returning fire. The drivers, that is, and that's a great thing to see. In fact, oh, I didn't realize we actually have proper machine gun T-20s here. So I am quite surprised. Let's keep those T-20s firing. This is a great source of fire, of course, on the enemy. In fact, I'm going to move this one up a little bit. Just get him a little more aggressive. Of course, hoping that the enemy doesn't have any tanks. But it doesn't look like it. So here we go. Move, move, move. Look at that beautiful thing. Got to get these things a lot closer to the enemy for them to be combat effective. I'll take this one as well, and I'm just going to move him up here. And looks like, are these tar pits? We're having some issues with the tar pits here. Definitely getting through them is not easy. Oh boy. Got to fix that, it looks like. And let's see how this one is doing. This one is doing pretty well, but I don't want to go back into those tar pits. So let's just open fire already. Beautiful. Looks like such a non-threatening vehicle, but with that damn machine gun, it can absolutely put some work in for us. We just needed to continuously be firing at the enemy. Look at this grouping of Germans, guys. Just look at that. An incredible group of Wehrmacht, and actually they're opening fire on our advancing units here. So I don't know if that advance is going to go so well, but I absolutely think we've got to return fire here now. They're absolutely wiping us out in droves. These Germans are crazy. Get him, get him, get him. Perfect opportunity to use this actual machine gun here. You know what? I actually want to set him up right there on the road. This is perfect. So anybody getting on that road is going to be immediately fired upon. No, he's going to decide to turn around. Please don't. Please don't. Come back. That should work a little bit better. It's going to take him a while to sort of respond to my commands, but at least we know what we're doing now. Yep, keep up that gunfire. Keep up the artillery shots. At the very least, we can destroy some units with anti-personnel rounds. You know, how great would it be if we got some air support or some artillery support right now? With that grouping of Germans, that would be an amazing, amazing hit. Just a few artillery rounds even just a few mortar rounds would be perfect right now. Unfortunately, we don't have that support in this battle, and that's what I said in the start of the battle. We very much were unprepared in this particular fight. So you got to work with what you got and try to generate as many casualties as possible. But I would love to see some mortar rounds dropping on that position. Every rifle counts here, so I might actually try to, even with these guys, as you can see, just move these riflemen up, have them ready for this advance. But let's see how our forward infantry is dealing, because that's, of course, where the enemy is approaching, is right there towards our forward infantry lines. We've still got this beautiful T-20 kind of holding this position, but I think we're going to have to keep him here to make sure that this area is not taken by the enemy. Keep it up, keep it up. They are absolutely everywhere, guys. And I don't know how effective these T-20s over here are, but we need to start firing at those officers. They're right there on the road. Feels like this thing should be able to see them, but he can't quite spot them. He's just kind of firing blindly. Hit him, hit him, hit him. Good shooting, good shooting. Now, unfortunately, our attack from the east here completely failed. We can't even call this a partial success. They were just prepared for us big time. So we're, of course, going to hold the defensive position, try to stop them here, but it's certain that that particular situation did not work. Now, we could do a Brest Fortress type thing here, and since it looks like we're going to be beaten, we could just go ahead and do a massive attack with these guys and try to push the enemy back. And that's what I'm going to do right now. We haven't done a good old-fashioned massive Soviet attack in ages, so let's go for it. Hurrah! Destroy the enemy! Slava Russi! I think we can make it happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Here we go, guys. It's now or never, and I'd prefer now. Here we go. Onwards and upwards. Hurrah! We've, of course, got the T-20s with us as well. That's gotta help. It's gotta give us a slight advantage. And it looks like we're even getting a few artillery shots off at a distance, although not making too much. No, that's just enemy smoke. Never mind. We can see here we have done some damage to the enemy for sure, but hopefully this advance is really going to work wonders. Come on. And just as the enemy is firing artillery, man, couldn't be a worse time to do an actual charge, but we've made our bed. Let's lie in it. Here we go, guys. Oh yeah, T-20 is getting across pretty easily. And actually, he can spot those officers. We need to turn him, and we need to start firing right now. He can absolutely spot them now. The question is, can he fix the damn pathfinding and actually aim towards the enemy? Because right now, he's got an open shot at the enemy if he starts, if he aims in the right direction, of course. Even this T-20 has a pretty good opening salvo at the enemy. Come on, come on. We need you to turn, son. Turn, turn. We've got the insufficient command level. Damn, we're going to have to wait a few minutes to get that back. Hopefully he'll know what to do on his own. But basically that means he's not going to follow our orders until we get that command level back. It looks like he is finally moving forward. Here we go. We really need you to just stay put now, son. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Just stay there. Stay like that. And this is bad news, guys. We've actually got some Soviets surrendering to the Germans. Never a good thing, of course. Never, ever a good thing to have our boys giving up to the fascists like this. And maybe it's time for me to be humbled. I've been getting quite a lot of victories in this game lately. It might be time for me to be humbled. I think the odds were against us in this fight, so to do an attack may have been really reckless. But who knows? We still don't know the full effects of the attack itself, and this thing is still not aimed towards the enemy, so let's just drive him right on through. It's such a shame, too, because these, 7 or 8 soldiers would have been so useful in this actual offensive. But, of course, now we're not going to be able to use them. Luckily, we've taken out a ton of the Germans on the road here. You know, just in this one attack and probably just defending against those shots from them. You know, we just need to keep this up, of course. But to see one of our guys surrender, very unfortunate. Shoot, shoot. Good shooting. As you can see, T-20 just took out that infantry unit on the road, and this is exactly why we need the T-20 advancing on this road here towards the enemy position, is just to wipe out any resistance here. And of course provide, some armored support for all of our infantry units. You might win this battle, Germans, but do not worry. I did a German accent for that. Do not worry. We shall come out on top in the end. As long as we can really, really damage them here. And just look at what they did even to our units in Popov. We actually had 2 infantry units here, as well as a spotter. They have absolutely burned these guys out of house and home. There is just no guys left, almost no guys left. You can see a bunch of them killed over here, just near the homes. They just absolutely got blown out of these dakas. So we'll do what we can with the existing units here, but I'm just going to have them join in on the attack pretty much. So at this point, anybody in the area is ordered to attack that sector, no matter what the resistance. Actually got some Germans directly ahead of us, and look at this, a few more surrendering Soviets. That's not what we want to happen. We want our boys to continue fighting, but they are losing their cool. Although if we can get a few officers like that, that would be so great for us. Get him, get him. Just trying to kill our T-20 with grenades. You are cowards, men. How could you do this? Keep on fighting, keep on fighting. That is really good actual grenade throws by the German officers here. And let's see if we can't start firing on the infantry out there. It looks like the T-20 has a pretty good eye on those guys. And the same thing with this T-20 in regards to that infantry right there. So I'm just going to have this thing pretty much aim forward and be pretty much a moving pillbox. We'll just continue to fire at the enemy. If we see them, we'll shoot, get a few kills. Everybody's happy. Did we get some German prisoners? Wait a minute. No. This is all about command level, damn it. Luckily, it looks like our T-20s are pretty much doing the right thing. Oh, man. I want to get that German officer so bad. That guy is just pissing me off. He's been alive this entire damn time. My goodness. Devastating artillery strikes, of course. As long as we can stay out of their way, that's going to be good for us, but I just think eventually this attack is going to break down. There's just no way we can really break through all the way. If the enemy offers a ceasefire, I'm going to accept it. This might be a battle, and I rarely do this in Graviteam tactics, but I very well might flee this battlefield. We'll do what damage we can, but once it gets to a point where we can't do any more damage and we're just running up in the middle of nowhere taking shots, we got to get the hell out of here. If we can still kill these officers, that's going to help us out. But they are fighting back. Look at this guy, man. Hans Landa here firing away. There are some bullets going his way, and let's hope we hit him, but this is kind of what I'm worried about, are the officers. At least the T-20 are continuing to fire their heavy machine guns into the wooded area, but are they actually getting any hits? I don't know. Okay, the artillery's working in our favor. Maybe we've actually got some arty coming in. Or maybe they're just trying to ineffectively kill that T-20. Guy's just firing his Tokarev like mad at that officer, but still we have no luck against him. Let's take a look at the T-20. Is it possible that he's been abandoned? It's just repositioning, I think. Okay, definitely, yeah, our T-20s are still working. At least most of them are, but that heavy machine gun, the MG-42 at the end of the road, is wiping us out quite quickly. like I said, attacking from all fronts. So even Bidozhov over here has got some action. Of course, trying to take out the Germans, extending out over here into the field. So I hope that our guys here know what they're doing and can get some effective shots on the enemy. It would be great if we had that additional 1 or 2 infantry units, of course. They would really help in this situation. And that continuous artillery fire from the enemy, it might actually end up hurting them, but it's definitely going to hurt us in the process. So we'll immediately go ahead. We're just getting all of our vehicle crew out, because everybody counts in this fight. Like I said, I want everybody firing their rifle. There we go, Babayev. Very nice shooting. I think they actually may have killed that officer. Is he dead? Yes, he is. Look at that, guys. And that's Babayev that got that kill. So that's actually just a supply truck driver. Of course, everybody is asked to fight in this battle. It's that simple. We need every man on the field to do his part. T-20 has gone insane. And once again, this is one of our uglier fights. We usually have much more effective fights where we either have a very good starting position, or of course we carry out a very careful defensive situation or defensive operation. This is one of those fights where just the odds were not in our favor, so I was kind of trying to think of different innovative ways to hurt the enemy, and in this case that was using the woods. Now I'm thinking, had we held the woods there, we probably wouldn't be taking as many casualties, but I'm not sure we would have been very effective. The enemy would have just kept advancing here, almost unchallenged until they got to Popov, so I kind of felt like this was the last thing we could do. Our last-ditch effort, pretty much, to at least do some damage to the enemy numbers. Of course, us as the Soviets, we have many more men than the enemy does in our entire army, and for that reason, maybe we do a little sacrifice here, and during that sacrifice, of course, we've already taken out some enemy officers, which is great, and potentially take out a ton of actual infantry units. We've already done quite a lot of damage. We could do more, and I must say, their actual setup here was perfect for that eastern assault. I've got to give them credit where credit is due. Or was it an eastern assault? More like a northwestern assault. They absolutely stopped it right in its tracks. We are at least starting to see the enemy. When you see the enemy turn white there, little white dots, that means the men can spot them. So, of course, we are returning fire here. So I'm going to keep it up for a bit. Let's see if they can handle it. I think they can, but we might as well test their ability to hold on. We've even sent our commander forward, Graviteam. So I'm actually going to keep him here, because I don't want him getting killed if possible. But let's keep it up. Way too many of our units are taking cover, and 2 of them there just got hit. And that was so fast the way it happened. Again, if we don't get more men standing up and firing, then we should absolutely retreat. While we have a few of our guys returning fire, we might still be able to knock out a lot of enemies there on the road. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And look at this, we've got brave guys like that, but unfortunately their bravery is not doing absolutely anything, and they're just getting zapped. So I think this is one situation where I will go ahead and I will call the retreat. You gotta know when to retreat, right? So in this case, we are withdrawing. And that withdrawal time is still going to take 5 minutes, so a lot could happen in that time period. I'm not going to stop the attack. I'm going to continue the attack. Orders from Stalin, what can I say? And let's see if we can't just grow this casualty count a little bit more. We'll have to wait and see. Now, of course, we didn't have proper tanks for this. We just had those puny little T-20s. This was a proper Soviet assault when it fails. Now, of course, we have videos with Soviet assaults when they do extremely well. This one is a failed Soviet assault, and these Germans can pat themselves on the back for a very good defense. Now, we still killed a bunch of them, and I think that'll be reflected in the casualties, but they're going to come out with a victory for sure here. There's no way this could be a loss for them. Just no way. Alright, we still got a few infantry units over here by the crossroads, which is amazing. Thought all of those guys were dead. Nonetheless, yeah, at this point, nobody's moving forward. They're refusing to move forward, pretty much. So we'll stay put. This entire area over here, Death Alley. I mean, just absolutely filled with Soviet corpses. And, of course, German corpses starting over here, extending all the way back as well. But we definitely took more casualties during this battle. There's no doubt about that. Unless we got lucky and got some of those artillery strikes I was talking about, you know, we could have done very, very well, but we just didn't have anything in this fight that was really going to help us significantly. The T-20s, I want to get your guys' opinion on that. If you made it this far in the video, do you think they were effective at all? Did they help us? Could we have used them in a different way? You know, maybe what we could have done with the T-20s is sent all our infantry forward, kept the T-20s like kind of back here, and maybe a few on this left side, and just use them as like overwatch machine gun fire. But I feel like even the machine guns in them were not particularly effective. Their visibility was absolutely terrible. Look at this guy, he's had way too much vodka, and he's just hanging out in the truck here. But their visibility was absolutely terrible, so not the most effective vehicle, unfortunately. It's actually almost very reminiscent in this battle of how the Soviet Union fought in the first days of the war. The actual separation between our two groups was pretty dramatic, and over here we had a bunch of supply trucks to defend with 1 or 2 AT guns, and pretty much didn't know where the enemy was going to be attacking from. So I might even call this video, you know, first days of Blitzkrieg, because that's kind of how this fight went. It feels very much like the first days of the Blitzkrieg for the actual Russians here in the way that we fought. Usually we have a little more control of the battle, but the way this was set up and the ferocity of what I can only guess are SS Panzer Grenadiers is amazing. I mean, they really did a good job moving forward, defending. They used the same tactic we did, moving in the forest, but they were a bit more careful. And as you can see, just like us, any of their units that kind of strayed from the woods, most of them got a bullet, caught one or two or a few bullets. But in general, they kept their guys very safe. We're not going to actually see most of the casualties that occurred in the woods here, but I'm guessing it's pretty minimal. Probably very hard to actually get a bullet to hit anybody through all those trees. You got to be very, very lucky. Or unlucky, depending on how you look at it. Oh my goodness, and now they're calling in artillery right there in the last 10 seconds. That was almost like a slap, an extra slap there at the end. And look at this, only 7 Germans killed, 48 wounded. This was one of our worst battles as the Soviet Union ever. But I'd like to show you guys that I cover any battle, whether it's a victory or a defeat. And if you critique me, I always appreciate the critiques. Thanks so much, guys. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.